Fluffy Pants says hello to you. So, a challenging, ripe, fertile topic this week, the topic of fear. And we're not the first humans to discuss it, to ponder it, to have a look at it. But fear seems to be the great enemy of mankind. And humans have been dealing with it for a very, very long time. And maybe, as I mentioned at the start, let's see if we can chip away at it. Let's see if together we can come up with more tools in our toolkit and, frankly, more truth that would dissolve away fear. And I guess we might start for a moment because maybe you're perfectly and completely fear free. Fear no longer assails your soul, and you never have moments of fear, and it's all gone. You live in the complete absence and perfect peace every single moment. And if that's the case, then thank you for bringing your consciousness to this group, because every person that overcomes fear fully, absolutely, and completely on earth helps probably millions of other humans and balances out the fear that probably most of humanity lives in. Why do we live in so much fear? I don't think that's really the question. I don't think the question is, why do we have fear? I think a more prescient question is, how is it that we're not absolutely terrified out of our wits every single second of life? Because if we were to have a look at reality, there's every conceivable reason for an intelligent, sensitive person to be freaked out of their mind in fear every single second, because we are very small. And if we're very small, we are in a very large environment that's foreign, alien, and threatening. And Sting has a wonderful song I've been listening to over the weekend, Fragile, how fragile we are. We are these little wisps and drops of organic life in a very much larger system, and threat comes from every single angle. It's amazing that we're not terrified out of our wits every single second, because if you're not in fear right now, or if there's nothing to be afraid of in your life right now, every second offers the opportunity for quote unquote, something to get us. Something's going to get us. And quite frankly, something does get us. Something gets each and every one of us. And it's looming right around the corner. And it's called death. Now, maybe I'm off to a bit of a dramatic start to our topic of fear, but I think it's deserved. I think it's an honest take. In the yoga scriptures, the great fear is called abhinavesa, and abhinavesa literally means fear of death, but it's the cumulative sum total of all the fears that we ever live as humans on this earth. And the cause of all fear, it is revealed in the great yoga scriptures, and it always boils down to this. And this is the angle that I'm going to talk about. This is everything that I've learned. This is everything in my toolkit as I do my best to move through my own personal fears. And yes, I certainly do have them, and I wouldn't listen to me if I didn't, because I'm right in the game with everybody else. But the answer in yoga, and I think the answer in all the world scripture, essentially and ultimately, and we'll look at it from a lot of angles this week, is the cure to fear is to remember who we are. There's a great fear and there's a great cure for fear in the recovery movement. It says, God, please take my fear and demonstrate through me what you can do. How many great prayers deal with fear? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. This list goes on and on and on, because why do we have to have so many prayers and so many angles and so many tools in our toolkit? Because life presents fear. Now, the worldly solution to fear is obvious. And I would claim that while it might be our first resort, it really doesn't work, because the worldly answer to fear is you get enough money, you get large enough walls, you buy enough insurance, you get yourself healthy enough, you elect enough of the right politicians, you get all of the external circumstances such that nothing bad can ever happen. And this, of course, has been the worldly answer to fear for as long as there's been a world. And yet, we can never do that. We can never assemble enough external protections because they all break down, they all give way. So, this week, the topic of fear and what is the answer? Well, the answer is to remember who we are. What's one more great thing that I'm going to mention that I use? It's judge not appearances, judge the truth. And this gets into a very large topic we'll look at this week. And this is what a lot of the greatest thinkers on the planet, the physicists, the cosmologists, the game theorists, the philosophers, all these modern people. There's a great debate going on. Do we live in a simulation? Well, if we live in a simulation presents appearances that can be terrifying. But what's always true in a simulation? There's a mind behind it. There's a guiding presence of being. And this, I would claim, and we can all examine this for ourselves, is if there isn't a guiding, loving, overarching, interpenetrating, undergirding presence of love that's actually the truth of being, then being in fear every single second is probably an appropriate response, because what else are you going to do if you're sensitive, you have a mind, and you can project forward into an imaginary and terrifying future? Well, we're here to overcome all that. Earth is a school, a plane where if we want to shrink and refer to our smallest self, fear can always increase. And if we wish to train ourselves and discipline ourselves to remember that what we're looking at is, in essence, a delusion, a picture, a movie, a simulation, and that in truth and in spirit, we can never be harmed. Nothing can ever go wrong. Goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our life. Then we will live more and more of this worldly life free of fear. And of course, that's paradise, that's heaven. And yet it's a choice, and it is a great training, and it is an unmistakable discipline to choose faith over fear. Anyway, off we go on this topic, and we will make progress. I'll see you tomorrow.